Welcome back to Reading Java Code. This is a continuation of Module 6, and we will have the quiz right after. And here we will cover math operators, which, they could be considered symbols as well. Anyway, let's jump right into this. The addition is the plus sign, which is in traditional math a plus sign with two lines, one crossing and one coming down. And if you look on line 34, you will see the plus sign. I will actually type these samples into NetBeans after I explained the various operators. Subtraction is a minus sign, and of course it's used to subtract one number from the other. Now, different from an addition, which is not sign driven, but I guess it kind of is. If you're adding two positive numbers, of course you have positive. But in this case, when we're talking about subtraction, if you subtract a large number from a smaller number, you will get a negative sign. So just be aware of that. And I will demonstrate something that could fix that problem. But anyway, and the multiplication is an asterisk. It is used to multiply two numbers together. You cannot multiply two numbers. And division sign is used to divide two numbers. Now, interestingly enough, this division symbol will only yield a whole number. If you want the remainder, you have to use the percent sign, which represents you want to know the remainder of a division problem. It won't give you the whole number portion, but it will give you the remainder portion. But anyway, let's get right into it. Let's open up NetBeans and get right to, let me talk about this real quick. I did this in the first part of Module 6, showing how to concatenate two strings together, so I will not demonstrate that here since this focuses on math. Anyway, let's open up NetBeans and get to it. Here we are in our NetBeans browser. NetBeans IDE, not browser. Browser is for internet web pages. But anyway, here we are in NetBeans, our IDE. I'm going to continue using this symbol demo. I cleared out the information we had prior. But anyway, let's get right to it. The first one was an addition. So let's create two numbers that we're going to play with during this whole thing. And actually, I'm going to use some numbers that I know are even. So this number will be 20. This makes our math cleaner, and we won't really have to do any mental math. The numbers are kind of straightforward, and we need one more for results. So we'll call that result ID. And actually, let's keep it uniform with what's in the I guess if I can spell it right. I guess math is my thing and spelling ain't. So here we go. There we go. Now we got it. There we go. We're just going to call this 0 because right now it has no value. So anyway, the first problem is going to be a math problem. So we're going to say result 3 is equal to number 1 plus number 2. So I also need to create something to print the results. So let me do this. Remember, you type that and hit tab, and that'll come out. So we want to print, the result. So this shows you how to concatenate again, just in case you didn't see it in the first video. The result is this. So we're going to say result 3. Just like that. So if we run this, we should get 30 if this is correct. So let's run this. And of course, we get result is 30. So again, if we just change the symbol here, I'm not going to create a new line. I'm just going to do that. So not a 1, a minus would work. We run this again. We get 10. So 20 minus 10 is 30. So if we want to multiply, we should get 200. So let's see what we get when we do it that way. Wow, we get 200. Nicely done. Now if we do division, we should get 2. And we get 2. So I talked about the modulus symbol is what it's called. It will tell you what the remainder value is. So if I change this to 22, and I did this, it will tell me that my remainder, well, let me try something different, so because it won't look like the same result. So 23 here, right? So if I run this now, we should magically get 3. Wow, this tells me what my remainder is. So I don't have to know. So I can do a math problem like this now and do that, and it will tell me what the remainder is. So I can simply do this. Remainder is 572. We don't know what the actual number is. Well, we could. I could do this. See, I'm going to shortcut this. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to have to create another variable. We're going to call it result for to hold the product and not the remainder. So we're going to tell this to hold our remainder, and this will hold the division number, and we'll say result is that remainder okay. So here we are, and we're concatenating a string, a number, a string, and a number. So this is how you would read this. Result 3 is equal to the number that's in number 1 divided by the number that's in number 2, closed with a semicolon. This is called a command line string, or a command, a complete command. Most of your commands in any program will always terminate to an equal sign, because that's how you pass values around. Values are passed, I wouldn't say passed around that way. They're actually called or passed by parameter to a function. So in essence, what we've done here, we pass this value here that's concatenated to this method. And since it's part of a class, you call it a method. But when it's not part of a class, it's called a function. But this is passing this to do something. And this print line is told to print something here. So it's being passed to a method, and the method prints here. But anyway, let me see what our actual number is. The result is 168 with the remainder of 572. 572. So let's see what we would have to do. I'm kind of a math guy, to get down to no remainder. So I'm thinking if I reduce this number here by 572, there should be no remainder. I don't think that's true, but hey, we're testing. So that would be 810. 810. Boy, we still have a remainder. So now that tells me if I reduce this number by 278, I should be good to go. So that'd be 0, 7, and 5. Is that correct? No. 4. Yes, that is now correct. Let's see if we get rid of our remainder. Voila! I am a math genius. Did you see that, people? So if I put a 1 here, we should have a remainder of 1. Look at that, a remainder of 1. That's called some mental math with mental power. But anyway, that's how you do all the math functions, the math symbols. I threw in concatenation. I threw in the modulus symbol that you've never seen before. So that's how you read that. You read that result 4 is equal to the remainder. The remainder is what that means of number 1 divided by number 2. So on to the quiz. Get out your answer sheets so you can continue to select and record all the right answers that we will check at the end of the series. I will see you at quiz number 6.